Kia ora, my friends from around the country. My name is Fiona from Sun and Moon Calendar.nz, and I'm here to talk about the astrological energies from the heavenly bodies above us and how those energies will be affecting us in subtle and not so subtle ways this coming weekend with the full moon in Pisces. Excuse my voice, I have a cold, but we're just going on anyway. And I'm pleased to say that the energies with this full moon are a little kinder and easier than what we've been experiencing for the last month or so with some of the heaviness and drama. So let's get on to this. So the full moon in Pisces takes place on Saturday night. Good time for a party, some music, some nice connecting, flowing love for all vibes. That could be what happens out of your Pisces full moon. I hope that you have a nice time. Okay, so at the time of the full moon, it will be nearly above us in the sky around 10 p.m. and the sun on the other side of the earth. And that's what it will look like on the zodiac wheel with the moon in Pisces at 17 degrees 41 and the sun in Virgo. Now, some of you might remember that in April we had the big conjunction, that once in a lifetime conjunction in Pisces with Jupiter and Neptune. That took place at 24 degrees of Pisces, and this is 7 degrees away, so it's not that close, but it will still be setting off some of that energy. If you think back to that time in our country, March, April, it was a bit of a crazy time with lots of crazy information. What was truth, what was not truth? It was hard to work out, and a lot of us just had to come back to our own heart instinct to try and discern what was the truth or not, because we couldn't rely on the information we were getting. So this full moon will be setting off some of that energy again. Again, we need to use good discernment, and we've got the sun in Virgo, which will help with that. Okay, but you also might see a step forward, or the fruition of one of the steps towards something new that was birthed at that time, and it won't be unlikely to be over now, because that was a really big conjunction. There could be things that you started then that will be carrying on for the rest of your life, but you might see the fruition of a step in that process. So let's look at the energy of Pisces, and we're going to go through the planets, the element, and the modality of Pisces. 2 ruling planets with Pisces. The ancient ruler is Jupiter, big and expansive, and the modern ruler of Pisces is Neptune. We are all connected, spiritual, one love, and a little bit ethereal and out there and vague. Okay, so Jupiter, good luck, expansion, opportunity, spirituality, honesty and rightness and goodness, and optimism. Jupiter tends to bring good luck, and so that is a lovely planet to have connected with this full moon. Neptune is related to Jupiter, is very similar. There's a lot of expansion. It's like so expansive, it goes completely beyond any boundaries. It dissolves boundaries, Neptune. Empathy, compassion, understanding everything, universal understanding of all of humanity. And detachment and letting go. And the challenge with Neptune is knowing where the borders and the boundaries are, because Neptune dissolves boundaries. Okay, the element of Pisces is water, so flowing. Okay, and so the elements of water, and that picture of moiraki there suits the Pisces full moon, not just because of the water, but those boulders, that kohatu, that rock, is representing Virgo, with that solid earth energy that Virgo brings. Full moon in sun in Virgo, moon in Pisces. And the modality of Pisces is mutable, flowing this way, flowing that way, flexible, adaptable, subject to change. And we bring together the opposites with a full moon, or at least we try to. We'll feel pulled in both ways. Both Virgo and Pisces are about service. Virgo is about earthy, practical, realistic service, going and cooking a meal for somebody who's sick. Pisces is the spiritual service, going to that person and listening to them, while they talk about all their stuff, and giving them compassion and understanding, empathy, so that they feel good and they've got it off their chest and they feel like they're a good person, whatever they did. That's the spiritual service, one of the types of spiritual service that Pisces can offer. So where do you have Pisces energy? Think about your life and where you've got a sense of free-flowing dreaminess, even mysticalness, spirituality, a feeling where you can connect easily to source energy. You feel like you're connected to the whole. Everything is one. In some area of life, there'll be a feeling of that for you in your whole life through that area. And that's going to be highlighted this weekend with the full moon there. And it could be a lovely, dreamy and compassionate and creative and artistic energy. Enjoy it. The big and crazy dreams that we have in our lives are clues to the reality that our soul seeks. So take note of dreams that come up, or dreams that have been with you, daydreams that have been with you all your life, because they could be clues to a higher existence that your soul is seeking to make into reality through the concrete action steps that Virgo encourages us with. Full moon, also known as Ranginui with some iwi. Full moon brings a sense of completion, fruition, and it's there's like a fullness. We see a project or some projects that we started at new moon, or like I said, back from that conjunction in April, but even back to the new moon in Pisces, which was the end of February. So we see some things come to completion, or they come to that full point, like the biggest point that they're going to get to, and we can step back and review the progress so that we can see what we need to change and adjust. And we are in fully now the season of spring, or mahuru, or koanga, depending on your rohe or iwi, how you name it. We might hear the shining cuckoo coming soon. And with the waxing moon, we should have been planting, maybe not so much planting with the waning moon. That will depend. And let's have a look at the lineup. So we now have Mercury. So Mercury there with the green arrow. Mercury is now in Libra, and I think the day after the full moon, Mercury is going to go retrograde. So the next 3 weeks, we will be having this time to review and reflect and go back over things and fix mistakes. I talked about that quite a bit in the last video, so you can go back and look at the Virgo new moon video if you want more information about that. We now have Venus in Virgo as well, and all of that is helping us to be of practical service in the ways that we love and care for each other and things. Okay, and you can see there where the full moon is really close to Neptune, once again getting close to that point of that conjunction with Jupiter and Neptune. Okay, Mars is going to be a really interesting planet over the rest of the year, and you can see it down the bottom there in the sign of Gemini at 11 degrees. So Mars is now in its shadow period, and by that I mean it's coming up to the point where it will be turning retrograde, and that comes later in the year, and it lasts right through from the end of October until, I can't remember, January or February, a long time. So we've got Mars in Gemini, the sign of communication, neighbors, social media, small businesses, daily connections. All of that's going to be under the influence of a lot of Mars energy and then Mars retrograde. So we need to be careful of our words, that we're not too impulsive, angry, too pushy, and also we might find our energy is very dissipated, because Gemini likes to do lots of little things, whereas Mars likes direct, clear action. So Mars and Gemini might feel a bit scattered, and that's going to feel even more so later when Mars is closer to the Earth and in retrograde. So just take note of that and take care with your emails and your communications. So another thing to mention is the full moon is at a nice angle to all the action that we've been having with Uranus and the North Node, and you can see them there in the sign of Taurus. So that's been what's made things rocky, dramatic floods and landslides and all sorts of things happening, and turnarounds happening in people's lives. With the full moon at 60 degrees, that is quite a gentle aspect, and that's why I think we're going to be having a bit of an easier time with this full moon. Things to think about with this full moon in Pisces, and you can use these ideas for journal prompts, meditation prompts, or just to think about as you go about your life. Okay, with the Mercury retrograde happening almost at the same time, over the next 3 weeks, we will be rethinking our communications, how we relate to others. It's in the sign of Libra. What do you need to revise, research, or fix? And be prepared to have patience through that 3 weeks. Thinking about the fact that there could be some misinformation, disinformation, whatever it's called these days. Where can you use discernment, that Virgo analysis, and caution that Virgo brings? So, just there's a few things there that could mean that information is a bit fuzzy. So being aware of that. What healing work have you been doing, especially over the last 6 months? Thinking about Pisces and that ability of Pisces to heal, and this is more in terms of soul healing, spiritual healing. Where have you got to with that? And in terms of creative, artistic, musical, and spiritual projects, what has come to fruition in the last 6 months with those kinds of projects? That lovely Pi Waka Waka there singing its heart out. And in terms of your bigger picture, compassionate, spiritual visions for the world, how you want the world to be so that everyone is cared for, loved, and honored, what has come to fruition? Either in terms of things you've noticed around the world changing, or in terms of steps that you've taken towards your service in that regard. So there we go. With this Pisces full moon, I hope that you have a chance to take a little bit of a break, have a nice time on Saturday night, and I hope you get the chance to enjoy that beautiful, dreamy flow that can come with Pisces, just flowing with creativity and artistic energy. It can be absolutely beautiful. That's all from me, everyone. Thank you for listening. I have started work on my 2023 calendar. So here's the 2022 version. I've started work on next year's one. If anyone's got any feedback that would be helpful for me to know, I'm probably still going to make it a 1-page calendar, but I've got a few ideas. So I've had some good feedback already, useful feedback. So let me know if there's anything that you'd like to tell me to improve this calendar. I'd be pleased to hear from you. Hei kōna rā, ka kite.